Have any of you ever tried to mix popcorn and cake together before? Someone has. Christina Tosi of Milk Bar. If you've been watching me, then you know I love a good Milk Bar recipe. They keep you on your toes. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's a popcorn cake. It's 3 layers of cake. It's naked, of course. Popcorn all up in it. It looks intricate. There's like 7 different steps to this recipe, and you need like 7 million ingredients. But if you have everything you need, you got the patience, you got the time, I think you're gonna be okay. Because well, watch me, and if I'm okay, then you're golden. I promise. Let's make it. This is called freeze-dried corn. I had to order this online because you can't find this in shops around here. This is a Milk Bar staple. We need to blend it up into like a flour-like powder. Corn powder. Since there are so many different parts to this recipe, makes most sense to me, and it's easier for me to understand if I break it down into chapters. It's less daunting that way. This is chapter 1, the popcorn layer cake. Freshly popped microwave popcorn. I'm gonna blend this until it's a fine powder. Now I'm gonna start adding all these different types of ingredients, but I'm gonna start throwing them all into this bowl. Firstly, let's start with some sugar and some butter. We wanna mix it until it's all creamed together. Adding eggs, 1 at a time. And don't take your hand, don't take your hand off the trigger. You're gonna beat it for 4 minutes. Now slowly stream in some buttermilk and oil on medium speed. Put the mixer on to medium-high and mix this until it's double in size. Now in a separate bowl, you're gonna whisk in all the dry ingredients. Cake flour, pulverized microwave popcorn, that corn powder, salt, baking powder, whiskey. What we're gonna do is keep this guy running and slowly add in, this is gonna be on slow speed. 1/4 sheet baking pan. Oil it up, parchment paper. Pour your batter evenly into this pan. You want to put this into a preheated oven, 175 degrees Celsius, 30 to 35 minutes. Halfway through baking the cake, I'm going to rotate it in the oven so that both sides of the cake get equal attention in the oven. Poke the center, it no longer jiggles, and you poke the edges, it has a slight bounce back. Chapter 2, popcorn milk. We're gonna add whole milk and freshly popped popcorn into a blender. Completely submerge it. Now you just wanna leave that alone for 15 minutes. It's gotta steep in that milk. 15 minutes is up. Blend this together for 30 seconds. Drain the milk through the sieve. Popcorn milk. Chapter 3, popcorn pudding. 1/4 cup of popcorn milk, cornstarch. In a different bowl, more popcorn milk, egg yolk. While we're whisking, we're gonna add corn powder, add the salt and sugar. Bloom the gelatin. To bloom any amount of sheet gelatin, soak in a small bowl of cold water. The gelatin is bloomed when it has become soft after about 2 minutes. 3 gelatin sheets to cold water. Small saucepan. Cornstarch mixture. I'm gonna add my egg yolk mixture. You wanna stir this regularly while it's heating up. Once I brought this to a boil, I'm going to add my bloomed gelatin. 1, 2, and I'm gonna take it off the stove. Whisk it until the gelatin is completely combined. I'm gonna pour this through a sieve into a container. I forgot to add the cubed butter into this popcorn pudding. This needs to cool completely. Half an hour. I'm not gonna lie, I'm completely exhausted from this whole process. I just wanna lie down and call it a day. Chapter 4, popcorn crumbs. Combine milk powder, all-purpose flour, sugar, cornstarch, salt, melted butter, and mix with a spatula. Don't forget the corn powder, like I just did. Mixing this until it starts coming together, forming small clusters. If you're not getting clusters, don't worry, I wasn't either until I added more butter. Spread your clusters onto the baking sheet with parchment paper. Bake this in a preheated 100 and... Set a timer for 22 minutes.
Your timer is set for 22 minutes.
Thank you. We are on chapter 5, salted caramel filling. I've always wanted to make caramel. What we need is a medium saucepan, glucose syrup, sugar. You want to start moving it around all over the pan. So we are cooking and stirring until this is a deep, dark amber. Once the caramel has reached the color that you're looking for, you want to take it off the heat, add the heavy cream, very slowly and softly. Whoa, Zaya! The caramel has turned into a clump, so I'm going to add it back onto the heat, stirring until the mixture is smooth. Add in some gelatin. Once the gelatin is dissolved, you want to add in some butter, vanilla, pinch of salt. Pour the caramel through a sieve. Let it cool covered in the fridge for at least 8 hours. 8 hours? I'm not getting this cake done tonight. It's gonna have to be done tomorrow. So, hello, it's a new day. It's in the afternoon. I just got back from my French class. Bonjour. Je fais un gâteau. Je fais un gâteau de popcorn. Chapter 6, corn fudge. You're gonna want a microwave-safe container, heavy cream, sugar, glucose syrup. We're gonna heat this in the microwave for 45 seconds. I'm going to add my white chocolate and butter, corn powder, pinch of salt. I'm gonna put this aside and reheat it completely when I'm ready to use it on the top of the cake. Chapter 7 is caramel corn. We've already made caramel. I don't think I need to go over that again with you. So this recipe for how to make caramel corn just stops, but it doesn't tell me what I should do with the popcorn. So I'm just gonna dunk it into this. I'm just gonna do this. Mix it in. Bad idea, really bad idea. I had to go off script a bit. Like I told you, the recipe was incomplete, so I had to figure it out on my own. There's the 2 variations. I have successfully completed chapters 1 through 7. Since I've put together the Milk Bar birthday cake, I kind of get the gist of how to assemble one of these things. So I'm not too scared at this point of what lies ahead. I think I'm past the hard part. You're gonna need a 6-inch cake ring. This one is expandable, so you could make your cake as big as you want. Wow! I'm gonna push this down onto the cake and punch out 2 full cake circles, and then there'll be a bunch of scraps. You have your 2 full circles, and you have your scrap pieces. Take your cake ring, put it onto the plate. You need acetate. Acetate is essentially, in school with the projectors, and the teacher would take this and put it on top and write on top and project it onto the, you know what I mean? And what I'm gonna do is MacGyver these together. I just took all my scrap pieces and put them onto the bottom layer. And I'm gonna take my knuckle and I'm gonna push down so that it's a nice flat surface. The bottom layer is looking good. Mixing popcorn milk with milk. You're gonna stir it all around and you're gonna give this bottom layer a good bath. So take some of your popcorn pudding, which I just threw in the microwave. Spread it with the back of your spoon. Take your popcorn crumbs and put half of them onto this layer. Cool, and cool. Take 1/2 of your salted caramel. This is more difficult to spread. How the hell are you supposed to spread this? There's no elegance involved in any of what I'm doing right now. The caramel and the crumbs are gonna turn into their own little thing together. Oh, now I got some of the pudding involved. Take a second cake circle, put it on top of the caramel. So with everything I just did, I do it again. Taking our last piece of cake and putting it on top of the caramel. This is the corn fudge. I'm just mixing together. Last but not least, I need to add my caramel corn. I'm just gonna be doing the circumference. I got my cake looking all nice and pretty, but now it has to go into the freezer to set into place. A minimum of 13 hours. Jesus, it's heavy. See you in 13 hours. Oh man, that's a good cake. I've never had a cake like that ever. It's completely unique. All those flavors in there, all the parts of that cake are working so perfectly together. They're very intense flavors on their own, but when you put them all together, do I recommend this cake to you? Yes, I definitely do. It was fantastic. And if you make it, it's a lot of work, but you're gonna look like a badass if you take this anywhere with you. Okay everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. It was a doozy. It's like the Lord of the Rings of anti-chefs. If you did like this episode and like what I'm doing, make sure you're subscribed so you can check out everything that's coming up. You can also like, comment, and you can follow me on Instagram at anti-chef-jamie because I'm posting there as well. That's it. See you next week. Bye.